Okay, hi, and welcome to episode 3 of the Not So Malone podcast. Today's date is August 7th, 2017. In this episode, we talk about President Trump's opinions and tweets regarding affirmative action. We talk about transracialism, and we talk about people appropriating black culture and using it to serve their own ends. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. It's great. Is it right first?
It's like left to right.
It's left to right. And
But you do it with your right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being raised a good Catholic boy.
Yeah,
I know all the traditions.
I wasn't raised Catholic. Anyway, so what happened this week? We have North Korea doing more crazy shit.
Oh, we increased the sanctions on North Korea.
Yeah, and they're moving I read they're moving like a ship or something. They could possibly.
North Korea's moving a ship?
Yeah, they could possibly be carrying missiles. I didn't really read it. I didn't have a lot of time to prep.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I just know it was like a unanimous decision by the UN and
To what? Oh, to
increase the sanctions. I don't
What
know.
are they? Just trade sanctions, or?
I'm sure it's military sanctions, like, moving the line back a little so they can't shoot missiles at Japan again.
They're not.
I don't.
No,
What do you mean?
no, they can't move the fucking. What is it? The DMZ? Are you
No,
talking
not
about
like
that
their
moving
literal,
the 30
like a metaphorical line.
Oh, okay.
No, like they're moving the metaphor.
But what are they
like if
doing?
you cross
No,
this line, we got to take you out, type thing. Like the sanctions are moving that line back. I assume, like I said, I didn't really read much about it. I just know that it was a unanimous decision. Like I think Trump tweeted something about the South Korean president being really pleased with it, and I assume it's to stop them from
What is
doing more.
What is
crazy.
President Trump deal with just like tweeting shit? I think he needs to just stop.
I don't know. It's like
It's a little bit ridiculous.
It's
how he's
been
like,
it's been good and bad for him in a lot of ways.
How has it in any way been good for him?
Well,
Because I feel like he doesn't think things out. He doesn't think how this is going to be legislation, what's going to happen, and then he tweets about it. I'm going to do this.
well, if you think about it, in reality, a lot of ways it's hurt him. But in theory,
But in fantasy land,
the idea
But in
is
fantasy
no.
land-
Listen, this I'm guessing this is the idea behind it. So he obviously is portrayed very negatively by the media of all kinds.
by the fake news.
By the fake news, and so this is his way of controlling the conversation, getting straight to the people with whatever message he wants.
But why doesn't he do like
In
a
a quick way.
fireside chat? Like,
He does
like
do those. He
FDR?
does the weekly.
Yes.
He does weekly videos. No
Does
one
he
watches them because it's a video. Who's gonna watch a video when you can read a 140 character tweet? But he does do weekly videos. They're like a couple minutes long, and he just talks about random stuff no one cares about. But the idea is like he tweets something out, and all of a sudden everyone's talking about it, whether it's good or bad, and then he can control the conversation.
But it's
that way.
very imbecilic.
In reality, that's how it turns out because he's crazy. But the idea is, and sometimes it works for him, is he can change the conversation to be more favorable to him.
But
But-
he doesn't.
but then he goes
because
on
Then they
and-
just in the comments. Then they start shitting about him.
You know what's crazy
Why doesn't he?
is
What?
how many people will immediately respond with comment change, just bashing him like within seconds. People have notifications on their phone for when he
To notify
tweets.
him? He
When he
blocks
tweets.
people.
Yeah, and he blocks people. But
blocks
when he
people,
tweets, instantly like 100 replies, and it's just comment chains of people like, "You're a terrorist,
Just saying,
you're a
like, fuck
traitor,
you.
just you're racist, KKK, all this."
Terrorists.
But they'll say stuff like that because it doesn't matter. It's Twitter,
Yeah.
and you just go through the replies, and it's all this
It's all
stuff.
just the little eggs.
And it's not even eggs. It's the
Just
verified.
regular
It's the
people?
people with the check marks.
Jesus.
It's like journalists.
Jesus.
I'm
And
sure
they
that's
say,
like their
fuck
job.
You, you're terrible.
Maybe not that exactly, but along those lines.
Minus the fuck you, like just like you're terrible.
Yeah.
That's weird. How are people? That's so weird. How can people do that? Dude, Twitter's weird. He needs to not be on Twitter. Our president shouldn't be on Twitter.
I'm okay with it, but at the
I'm
same
not.
time, it's just really he's not doing it right. He's not doing it right. Like I said, in theory, it could work very well for him. He's just not doing it right. He's just messing it up, and it's not working well for him.
But like President Obama would do it to like introduce, like after he had Congress voted on this. You know what I mean? Like the ACA is now live. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. Whereas
Yeah, he would
Trump's
just use
just
it for
like,
announcements.
hey, I'm gonna fucking. Well, I can't even think of anything funny to say because it's not funny. It's sad.
It's crazy.
But his just like the crazy policies he comes up with at 3:00 in the morning,
Yeah.
and he just like tweets it.
Yeah, like the Mika Brzezinski, the facelift thing. You heard about that, right? She was bleeding from her face.
Who is that lady?
It's her and Joe Scarsborough or something. They host Morning Joe. I think it's CNN and maybe MSNBC.
Is that like a morning talk show?
Yeah, it's like this morning talk show, and it's crazy because up until like last year, around this time, maybe a little bit before, they were like not supporting him, but they were pretty favorable towards him.
On CNN, really?
I don't know if it was CNN. It might have been a different news station, but they were like, they were pretty fair with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, whatever they said, he just decided to tweet that out there. Now it's like,
Yeah.
really,
What
dude?
did he say? I was out at dinner and she.
No, he was like
bleeding from her
at one of his
face.
golf resorts, and he was like golfing or something, of course. And they come up to him, and it's crazy Joe Scarsborough and something Mika Brzezinski. They come up and they wanted to golf with me, but she was bleeding from her face, so I said no.
Who even?
This is the president.
Like, how does this shit even happen?
President of the United
How does
States
this even happen?
talking about her facelift, her botched facelift.
Okay, A, I'm sure her face wasn't bleeding.
Probably not. There might have been a scar.
B, do you get scars from facelifts? I feel like they're pretty
Probably
good
not a
about
good
that.
one. I assume it was a botched facelift. I'm sure that's possible.
Yeah, I feel like they come in the chin. They come in down here. And like,
Yeah, so maybe he like saw a scar. There was like a hairline scar or something.
if it's gonna leave you a gnarly fucking
Oh,
scar, don't get a
bleeding from
goddamn
her face.
facelift.
You can't like cut
No, I
into
think
your
they're.
skin
I think
without
they're
leaving
pretty.
some.
I think they're pretty good about.
No, they
scars.
hide it. They'll like hide it behind the ear or like
Yeah.
under the chin. But I'm sure he just saw it or something, and then he wanted to comment on
Like
it.
the
because he was
Kardashians don't have any scars, and they've had like 400 operations each. So like, I highly doubt.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what he's
Okay,
speaking.
but regardless,
can't-
if a woman was bleeding for her face from her face,
Would you want to comment on that?
yeah, probably not.
Probably not,
Yeah, it's
unless you're Donald Trump,
Forte's president,
El Presidente.
Donald Trump, by the way.
Yep.
And then what else did he tweet? Is this just going to be the podcast talking about, this isn't even a podcast, this is just going to be the YouTube channel talking about Donald Trump's crazy tweets?
I don't know. I think we just kind of talk about
Like it
whatever.
is. Well, I think that it's fucked up because I think that our political situation is literally being directed by his crazy tweets. You know what I mean?
And that's kind
Like
of what I
his
was
tweets
saying. Like
have so much say over
in
everything.
theory, he's controlling the conversation,
He's not.
but in reality, he's turning the conversation against him in really specific ways. So it's like, bless you.
Ugh.
But I mean, that's just how he is. Can't change him.
Well, what did he tweet about the affirmative action stuff?
I don't think it was a tweet. I think
That
he
wasn't.
gave a
Oh, so that one
speech.
wasn't a tweet. That one was.
I
a
think
speech.
he actually gave a speech about this new. It's called the RAISE Act. It's about immigration.
You wanna explain that?
I just kind of looked it up a little bit. Basically, it's going to cut the number of green cards that we accept in half. So it's going to go.
Well, that's
from, like,
immigration. That's not affirmative action. I thought he said he was going to have the attorney general look into the constitutionality of affirmative action. You didn't hear about that?
I know he's against that type of stuff. I didn't hear anything about it
You didn't hear
recently.
anything about that? Am I making that up?
Recently, I don't know.
Can we get fact checker on that?
Fact checking, maybe. I don't know.
Can we get our fact checker on that? I swear, I don't know if he tweeted it, but he was talking about. I think he tweeted it because I think I saw it. That he was talking about how, because he wants to examine the constitutionality of like affirmative action, which basically makes it easier for people of certain minority groups.
Well, I mean, affirmative action is racist by design. I mean, it's racist. Like, how can you say that that's a good thing?
I don't know if I agree that it's racist.
How can you say that affirmative action is a good thing?
I don't know if I agree that it's racist.
Maybe back in the 60s, we want to help those people who were systematically oppressed. But, I don't know, it's been 50 years, a lot's changed. At this point, do we really want to be discriminating against people based on their skin color?
Well, and this is why I don't think it's inherently racist. I think it's inherently like racially charged, but I don't think it's inherently racist. Because
you mean like it's not negative?
I think it comes from a good place. It's just a terrible solution to fix institutional racism. You don't give people who have been. You don't give people like special treatment. You know what I mean? It's not equality.
At the very least, not because of their skin color.
Yeah,
come on.
That to me does feel well. It's interesting because when you go and you sign up for like any government program or you try and go to like a public school, you have to input your race into the form.
On almost every application for anything these days.
Isn't that really weird?
It's pretty racist.
Isn't that really fucking weird?
Because if they don't take it into account, it's used as a statistic for like these broad, statistical analyses.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it might become something that they take into account. So it's like, no matter what, it's gonna lead to something racist.
Well, I would just feel uncomfortable with the government going around and collecting people's races. Like, why does that?
Yeah, why do we need to know that stuff?
Under any
I think we all agreed
race doesn't matter.
Yeah, we all agreed a long time ago that race does not affect anything in your life.
And we should all just stop. Any more than it would be ridiculous if they asked you, "Are you a blonde or a brunette or a redhead?"
Yeah.
Or black hair.
Or like the eye color or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, why does that matter? I can have green eyes or I can have blue eyes for this position. And I fully believe that. So I just don't understand. Like, and people would obviously be like, this is ridiculous if colleges were like, well, you need to let more green-eyed people in. Like, they'd be like, this is fucking stupid.
Exactly.
We need to let...
What have green-eyed people, like, what have they ever been, missing out on that they need to be added to this system?
Well, I think where it gets more difficult is when you do have minority groups like black people, Hispanic people, there's all the races. Basically anyone who's not like Protestant and white, who were sort of systematically, I hate the word oppression, who were sort of like systematically railroaded to the side of public. Like, there were certain jobs they couldn't get and stuff because of them being black. But I think that now we've completely run the other direction, and we have made it so that, you know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous having like a quota of black people that we need.
Yeah,
to
like
hire.
for television commercials.
That's fucking.
We gotta make sure we got our Asian. We gotta make sure we have our black person.
Super fucking racist.
Yeah, I think it's totally racist.
And did you hear about fucking the movie? And there was a World War II movie that came out. I don't want to say the name because I don't know if we can do that. World War II movie that came out a couple weeks
Everyone
ago.
knows what the movie is.
Okay, but I'm not going to say the name because
Why?
I don't think we can do that.
I don't think we can't.
Alright, well, okay, so Dunkirk. Anyways,
Yeah.
and people were complaining that there was a lack of, like, actors of color and
Ethnic
women.
actors.
No, they use the term actors of color.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they use that now, and they say, like, colored. They say colored. I'm like, what the fuck? You can't say colored.
I thought that was racist a couple decades ago. I thought
Yeah,
that was
no,
bad.
I thought it was still racist, and that's why I
No.
refused to say it, because
Yeah.
it doesn't... It's super racist, but they were complaining that there weren't enough, and it's like, it's a movie about the French and British military in World War II. There weren't, in fucking heavy combat. there weren't any fucking women in the heavy combat. Like that's just
For one, women.
that's well, yeah. Or I mean, there were like they had the Indian Corps, and stuff like that, but they were in combat in other places.
Right. Historically,
Yeah.
there were those groups,
Yeah.
but also historically, they were kept in their own squads or whatever.
Well,
They
in
were
World War
separated.
II,
They were separated.
in World War II, so what got deployed to Germany that Dunkirk is based on, what got deployed to not Germany but France, and why they had to retreat was the BEF, the British Expeditionary Force, which was like I don't know, Expeditionary Force is like an army that you send overseas, and like I feel like that wasn't a regiment that was integrated. Anyways, the moral of the story is if there aren't black people in the story, there aren't black people in the story, and that's okay.
It should be okay.
Like I don't think anyone should be upset if in the movie Black Panther that Marvel's coming out with about an African superhero
Where are all the
based
white
in
people?
Africa. Yes,
There's white people in Africa. What is this
because
bullshit?
yeah, in fucking South Africa.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? They're in the fictional continent of Wakanda, or the fictional country of Wakanda, and I'm not upset that there aren't any white people.
No one cares.
No one's like, why aren't there any Chinese people in this movie based in Africa? Like, because there just aren't any in the story. If you know what I mean, and but it's gotten to the point where they get upset because there's no, and it's like, okay, I understand that, but especially for historical films,
exactly. Like if it's a fictional film and in your fictional world there's no black people, it's like, okay, that's a little racist.
Yeah.
You could have thrown in a little variety, you know?
Yeah, no, you're right.
But historically, come on.
Yeah, like if you have a movie in like a New York subway and it's just all white people, like I feel like then you can be like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah.
There's other
Yeah.
like okay, I get that. But at the same time, having a quota, like, oh, we need 6 more black people, we need 6 more, or we need an Asian, we need a token Asian. Like, do you guys not understand the concept of tokenism?
Yeah. I mean, I would be offended.
Like they just want you there because you're a different, like it's the most racist thing ever because they're only, like we literally need you here, not because you're a good actor, not because you know your lines, but because you have a certain skin color. Like that is literally the definition of racism.
Yep.
So it's weird.
And back to the affirmative action thing, I think it actually causes more problems for the people who it helps.
I don't know. How do you mean?
Like, okay, so a black person with a score of a 1200 on the SAT.
Is that high or low? I didn't take the SAT.
So now it was when we were in high school, it was 2400, but
that was a high score.
24 was the max, and now it's 1600 is the max.
Why did they do that? What did they take off?
They took out the writing section because it was math, English, and writing. So I think they took out writing and they just added on to English.
Okay.
But anyway, so like a black person with a 1200 on the SAT score will get into the college at the same level that an Asian person with a 14 or 1500 will.
Yeah, it's racist shit.
Yeah, first of all, it's totally racist. And then the problem is these...
Well, but why is that? Let's just explore for a second. Why is that racist?
Because the
Because
Asian
you're
person
stereotyping.
deserves more. I mean, they worked harder to get to that level.
No. Why is it? No, I'm saying that it is racist to have a black person who only got 1200 and an Asian who got 1400, because I feel like it's stereotyping. Asians do better on math tests. You know what I mean?
It's just an example.
Yeah. No, I know, but I know that there is like shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's my
That's
point.
a stereotype.
I'm agreeing
Of
with
course.
you.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like,
a stereotype.
It's stereotyping.
So like, you're literally just letting them in at a higher rate because of their skin color. That's racist. But then, because of this, black people have a much higher dropout rate in college.
Yeah, they do.
Because they're getting into these colleges that they're not really ready for. And, you know, a lot of them will succeed, but a lot of them don't. And you can see that statistically, that they're not at the level that they should be.
Do you want to find us statistics on that before we get called racist for saying that?
Statistics on which?
Dropout rates.
Among African Americans.
Also, they incentivize like the schools for having more people of color. I believe is like
So it's a
okay
quota.
term because you're not saying colored people. You're like saying autistic people.
But it's the
instead of
same
saying
thing.
Autism. It's different because
It's
they're
like,
still a person. They're
No,
not.
no.
Their skin is not defining them. They're a person first, and they also have this attribute. I believe that's why you're confused on the matter.
I'm not confused on the matter. I think that the matter is ridiculous that you can say people of color, but not colored people.
It's semantics. It's ridiculous.
It's still saying that they're a person before they are their skin color.
But they're a person,
But
and
you're
that's
still
the only thing
defining
that
them by
matters.
their
You're still
skin
defining
color.
them by their skin color.
Yeah.
But they're not.
We don't say people of not color because that's ridiculous.
People of whiteness.
Yeah.
Because you're just people. Just,
But
just
we're
people.
all
We're all just
people!
people.
That's the whole fucking point! Is yes, that makes
but
it
you
sound
make
like
up the majority in the media, and that's why it's different because it's always just been.
We make up the majority of the country too.
Do you still?
Yes.
I don't.
Oh, maybe plurality.
Yeah, probably plurality.
I don't know about majority, but black people make up like 13% of the population in America.
Is it really that low?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 30%.
It could have changed, but last time I checked, it was around 13%.
No, but saying people of color is racist as fuck. They're just people.
No, exactly. And that's my point.
People.
Why are we still defining people based on
we
skin
don't say
color?
people of brown hair
Yeah.
because everyone would be like, how is that relevant in any way to the discussion?
Exactly.
Like, I don't go, my friend Joe got arrested and the cop beat him up because he's a person of brown hair. It's like, dude, that in no way matters for the conversation. I guess
No,
that's kind of a bad
exactly.
example because I feel like race does in some ways
Well,
still factor into that.
Well,
However-
the thing is, there's individual bases. On an individual basis, racism still exists, but
Yeah,
institutionally, not at all. You
Yeah,
cannot find instances of institutional racism anymore.
yeah.
Because
well, I
it's
think
illegal,
large,
for
I think
one
large
thing.
scale. I think large scale. I do think that there probably are employers who are like, we won't hire Muslims, but I don't think that Walmart is like, we won't hire Muslims.
Yeah, I mean, on an individual basis.
Well, a little bit higher than individual. I think it like maybe like
Like
the
a small
yeah,
business,
Yeah,
like a restaurant
Yeah.
chain.
but also no. Yeah, you are literally facing. Can you get jailed for that for not hiring? I know you can get fined.
I'm sure it's a fine. You might have to close down your business if it doesn't change or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's lots of penalties.
I mean, which
but it's
should-
illegal. It's illegal.
yeah,
That's the
which
point.
which should be the case if you're like literally if someone is a very like good applicant and meets all the criterion, and you're like, I'm not gonna hire them because they're brown skinned.
Yeah, I'll go with my nephew because
Yeah,
my
because he's
skin
white,
color.
even though he doesn't have a college degree, and this guy has a college degree from Yale, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like
exactly.
there should be protections
be-
for that.
merit based.
Yeah.
But
But when you say
why
you
is that
have to-
so crazy? Why is that such a radical idea?
Yeah, it's weird. And then people have and then like I saw a magazine. It was like on maybe Twitter, and somebody retweeted magazine, and it was like, it was just something like skincare tips or something weight loss tips, whatever like women's magazines talk about. And it was like 40 women of color share their secrets, and I'm like, no, they're just women.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just women.
Why does that matter? Why does it
It is
matter?
in
what
no
their
way
color
relevant
is?
to the
I don't know.
conversation.
Yeah,
It's just
it shouldn't be.
But they have to put it there to say like, no white people. It's like kind of like a coded way of saying no white people, which I'm fine if their magazine wants to publish a thing where they just have 40 different women of various ethnicities. I'm fine with that. I don't care.
It's
They're
cool,
a
but it's not
magazine.
progressive. It's definitely regressive. It's
Well,
going backwards.
But my point is that just having this term people of color and just kind of sticking it in and like, oh, we have people of color, we're so progressive, it's just silly because it's like, no, they're just people. When you
Yeah.
define people based on their skin color,
it's racist.
it's racist.
It's there's no
And
other
it
way to
doesn't
say it.
and
It's
it
just
doesn't
is.
matter if it's good or bad things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't like just because they're being nice to you right now based on your race doesn't matter.
It's still racist.
Exactly.
Yep.
But everyone thinks that, well, they're being really nice to like such and such race, like, I'm living in the limelight, and other races, like, who gives a shit about? You know what I mean? Did that make sense? I don't. The point is it's not equality to have like this shit like women of color or people of color. Like that seriously, that makes me feel gross saying that people of color. That's really fucking gross.
Yeah, it's definitely everything that people in the 60s fought to end.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what they wanted back then.
Because it's like,
now we're right back where we started.
and like, if you don't think it's racist, then think about this. If I was telling you a story about someone, and I was like, my black friend did this, but it's like something that totally doesn't relate to his race, like you wouldn't do that. You'd just be like, oh, and then my friend Joe did this. You'd be like, oh, that's funny. Like that's it. But if you know what I mean, like their skin color like doesn't factor into it. My friend Joe's car broke down. Like, oh, that sucks. But if you're like, my black friend Joe's car broke down, it's like, okay, why does the fact that he's black, what did he?
I have black friends. I have plenty of black friends.
You don't.
You don't. I had a black president.
You don't.
That makes it okay, right?
What makes what okay?
I voted for Obama twice. I would have voted a third
You
time.
didn't vote for Obama twice.
I couldn't vote.
You didn't vote. Still can't vote. You're still not 18.
Yeah, I'm 16 years old.
What are you sadder at? What were you trying to do right there? You lost.
Yeah,
me.
satire. I don't know. Did you see the movie Get Out?
No, I didn't. But it seemed like it was racist to me.
I kind of liked the way they did it, though. I mean, like the point is that the people who did you see it though?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I don't. Do you want me to? I don't know if I want.
Probably don't want
to
to spoil it on video, anyways.
It came out months ago.
Yeah, but
I mean,
people
the
like
premise
me don't
is
see
that
it.
the family.
I know the
racist,
premise of it. I get
but
it.
they're
But
like
they pretend to be super progressive.
Right, yeah.
And like, we loved Obama. We voted for him.
yeah. The
You
guy
know,
actually says, "I voted for Obama twice. I would have
Yeah.
voted again if I could."
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's
I
just
get
like
that.
it's just like everything is in undertones. It's like the son asks the guy who's a photographer. He's like, "Why didn't you become an athlete? You know, you could have made a great athlete." And it's like,
To the black guy?
yeah, and it's like,
He's black,
yeah, exactly.
but he's a photographer for a living?
Yeah, the black guy's a photographer,
Because it's like a daughter and like her new black boyfriend, right? Or
Yeah.
something. Like,
and they're going to
new
meet the family.
parents.
Yeah. And it's just like this real subtle racism.
Yeah.
But you know, it's all in undertones. And the guy's just super uncomfortable, but they'll just try to play it off. It's not that racism, or it's not that racist.
See, but I don't think that everyone is like inherent. Like, I don't think that the people who are like, I voted for Obama 3 times, I don't think that they're like deep down actually are racist. I think that they just clamber onto these stupid fucking policies and like support these stupid things without even taking a moment to like look at them because they're worried about being labeled a racist themselves.
Right, and that's the other thing. It's like, if you try to even talk about this stuff, like, we're going to be labeled racist just for talking about this stuff.
You think so?
At least a little bit. Some
Yeah,
people are
at least
going
a little
to.
bit.
Some people are going to say.
Slightly racist.
Some people are going to say we're neo-Nazis over here.
You think so?
Yeah, just for
For
even having this
saying what?
conversation. Just for even having this
We haven't
conversation.
said anything.
We've been talking about racism. We can't talk about racism. We're white.
Do you really think that?
Yes.
I don't.
No,
think
we're
that's
going to get
the case.
labeled. I
I
mean,
don't think that. Well, no one's gonna watch.
not very many people are going to
So
watch
it's not gonna
this,
happen.
but if some, crazy liberal comes on here, then they're going to get triggered.
Well, I'm a fucking
tweet
liberal.
about it.
That's what's fucked up. Like, I'm a liberal.
Yeah, it's crazy. So now we have like
I voted.
normal liberals like you who can actually have this conversation.
Yeah.
And then you have these crazy far left nutcases who are basically just as bad as the crazy far right nutcases.
Yeah.
All these white nationalists and
Yeah.
and KKK
Have you seen that guy,
type
Richard
people.
Spencer?
Is he the guy who said we need an all white America or something? What did he say?
Like a fucking ethnically pure. Like, it's like real.
Yeah.
It's
No.
it's
Yeah.
like real Nazi shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's just on YouTube. It's kind of hilarious because like you see, I watched like a video a while ago, and I thought it was ridiculous because he's like, we need like an ethnically pure fucking America. We need like exile all the colored people. I'm sure was the term he used. 'Cause it's racist.
It's something about like
It's racist.
protecting the white genes.
Yeah, the
or
bloodline.
something
Yeah,
about
yeah.
something about genetics.
Yeah,
Some messed up shit.
very weird shit.
Yeah.
But and then he was like, and he's like, since the dawn of time, people who are not white have never contributed anything to society. And I'm like,
That's
what?
not true.
well, that's so wildly untrue and ridiculous.
yeah. But
And
it's like
what the fuck?
there's people like that, but like the reason those people even have a platform to speak is because there's these people on the left saying the exact opposite. We need to kill all the white people. Cops are all racist. We need to kill all the cops.
The cops are all racist, and we do need to kill all.
Yeah, we need to kill all the cops. It's just like it's just ridiculous, and this is the conversation that America's having right now because apparently, I don't know, Donald Trump or something.
I don't think Donald Trump is any more racist than the average 73-year-old white man. You know, or however old he is, 70, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I mean, you got to think, like, he was alive when segregation.
Oh, he grew
was
up
a thing.
during that time,
Yeah.
so like that kind of formed his mentality
Yeah.
for a lot of during his
Yeah.
formative years. Yeah.
Young adult. Well, no, he would have been born. No, he was born 1940.
Right.
I
That
wanna
was
say he was
before
45.
the Civil Rights Act. He would have been like 20 when that happened.
Yeah. Well, you make it sound like he was like a little kid.
No, he was growing up.
Yeah.
He was growing up. He was a teenager.
Yeah.
Like imagine being in high school, all white high school, going
It's
to
so
college,
weird.
all white college,
So weird.
and then all of a sudden we want integration. Like that messes with your mind, I think. And I think we have this older generation of people who lived through that time, and they're kind of confused about what all this equality, I guess. And we grew up in the time of equality, so we kind of just are like, why would you be confused about that?
I don't know if they're confused about equality.
Like they have.
I don't think I'm following what you're saying. I don't
No?
know. No, I don't.
Like they grew up during this time of segregation. And,
Yeah.
And
so they got used to
separate
that.
but
That was the
equal
world
and
that
all
they
this
grew up in.
weirdness.
Yeah.
So this is like that's their form. That's their mentality.
Okay. Is that
And now they're in a time.
Non-whites
Here we are,
should
50
be-
years later, and everything is kind of flip flopped, and they're kind of just figuring stuff out. Like we always talk about politicians flip flopping, and I think it's just because they don't really know what to do. Because there's this older generation, like the whole generation, who just lived during that time, and now here we are, the younger generation, getting into the older, like the millennials, I guess we are, which I don't even know
I don't know
what the
generation
age range
they are.
of millennials. I think 40-year-olds are millennials.
Really?
And we grew up during the time where none of that existed, and we're just like, what are you guys talking about? Like, why even say people of color? Like, the whole conversation we just had.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to us, because we didn't live during that time. We kind of have no...
No, but I
point
get
of
that. But then
reference.
why are people these days saying shit like people of color? I think that they don't understand what it was. I think that they don't understand what real institutional racism, what segregation, what these things actually look like. And so they're trying to make a boogeyman, and they're inadvertently following in the steps of racists by doing so, by saying shit like people of color.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, I think if they would open a textbook and like realize that like that's what they used to call people, like they were colored people. They used to have signs like no colored people.
Yeah, so just like I was saying, like the older generation had that viewpoint, but the younger generation did not have that, so they really don't know, and they're kind of just spouting off all these platitudes, and they're really actually, going backwards.
Yeah.
In the worst way.
But I don't think affirmative action is inherently racist. But I do think it is weird to have like race. I mean, it's like race testing. I mean, how long before?
Yeah.
How long before? Oh, well, how long before somebody's going out with a tape measure to measure your nose to see what you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, yeah. And
Exactly.
your skull size. What's that? Phrenology? Is it phrenology or
Yeah.
phrenomics?
I don't know, but
You
I know
ever
what you're
heard about
talking about.
Where they measured like the skull and like African, and they divided people into literal different races, not Homo sapien, but there was like Homo africanus, Homo like Arianus or whatever the fuck was for white people, or Homo europaeus or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But they said, and black people have smaller brain cavities because their brain is smaller and shit like that. And well, this was like back in like the 1890s. And then like into like the 20s and shit, people are like, okay, like that's not true at all. There's more variation within races than there is between races.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. But when you do this shit like people of color, it's like, no, they're just people. We're all the same. We're all the same species. Some of us have darker skin than others. Some of us have darker hair.
Yeah, and all this stuff led to things like eugenics and the
exactly.
rise of
Yeah.
Nazism.
Well, yeah, no, exactly. And that's what Hitler did, was he had people going around measuring people's fucking noses
Exactly.
and shit to be like,
And that's
you're not Aryan enough.
and we're almost
And
headed in that direction.
Yeah, exactly. How long before we're like, measure your nose oh, you're not black enough to get this. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Did you see on Twitter that video? Most racist shit I've ever seen. Like actually the most like, and I've watched Richard Spencer talk before. It's the most racist shit I've ever seen.
I don't think I've seen
The white girl who says that she's transracial and she's black.
Oh, I know who that is. Something Brazil.
She's an American.
Donna Brazil.
I don't know her name. I don't want to say her name.
Or
Did you see the video though?
I don't know. I don't know about a video, but I heard about her, and she says she's transracial because she was the head of the DNC, I think.
No. This is a girl who's just been making the rounds on Twitter.
Oh, okay, but you know about the head of the DNC?
Yeah.
That's
she
who I
was
thought
actually
you were
white,
talking
and she
about.
said she was transracial.
She said she was Native American or something.
I don't even know about
Or
that.
she said she was straight up black, and then they found out that she wasn't. She's just white with a spray tan.
But why does it matter? You know what I mean? Why does
Exactly.
it matter?
It shouldn't matter.
Exactly. But this girl, like the video just got. We can show it off air. I'll show it to you off air, but we can't have other people's YouTube videos on ours. For
No,
sure.
no,
I know
definitely
that. Yeah, I know
That for sure we can't.
And she's like a totally. I mean, she's white. She looks like a white girl, and she talks like a caricature of slaves from like the 1850s. It's super fucking racist, dude.
Really?
Yeah, and she's like, I'm transracial, and how she does that is just like talking horrible English and like saying like a bunch
She doesn't
of
do like
slang.
blackface or anything.
She
though,
doesn't
right?
do blackface, but
Okay.
she does like black voice.
Which I guess is just as bad.
Exactly, and that's
It's
my
not
point. Is like
worse.
she's pretty much doing blackface, but everyone's like, "Oh, she's transracial. This is so great." I'm like, "No, she's not. She's making a super racist Sambo caricature
Yeah.
of black people and saying that all black people are really uneducated and talk with like
Yeah.
southern jive."
Seriously, that's messed up.
You really haven't seen that?
I don't think I have. Is it new?
It's You want to watch the? You want to pull up the video and we'll just cut it?
No, we'll just do it after.
Well, because then we can talk about it. Because it's
Okay.
But okay, so we couldn't find the video.
Yeah, we couldn't find the video. It must have gotten erased.
I don't know if it got. I swear I'm not making this up. I don't know. Maybe people will see it and remember. But anyways, the moral of the story was she was like, I identify as black, and
Right.
she looked like a total white girl, and the only thing that she did was basically talk like she was incredibly uneducated and grew up in a terrible neighborhood and had no basically like a caricature of like a freed slave, just like super racist, and like I just don't see how that's any different than putting on blackface and saying no, this is who I really am. No, you're not. You don't get to pretend that you're something that you're not. It's not fair, and it's offensive to other people who are actually that thing. Like, I don't understand why this is difficult. But then people come out and they scream, oh, transracial people are the new transgenders. We need to love them, and we need to make them our next political crusade. And it's like, no, it's not.
I hope that never happens.
I think that that's the next thing.
We did find out in the break who that lady was I was talking about.
Yeah.
It was, what was her name? Rachel
Dolezal.
Dolezal. Yeah, and so she was the
And
head.
not, who
of,
did you say?
it was not Donna Brazil. She's actually black.
Okay.
But so she's the head. This Rachel Dolezal. She was the head of the NAACP,
Uh-huh.
which is literally an organization for colored people, and
Why can't
She's
there be
white.
white people in?
but she was claiming to be black.
Yeah, no, it's more.
So it's like
It's more racist to have her
It's-
claim to be black than just be
Right.
like, yeah, I'm a white person who's also.
it almost seems like she got to that position because she was claiming to be
Yeah.
black, which is pretty
because
messed
they
up.
wouldn't have promoted a white person, probably.
I'm not saying they wouldn't. I'm just
I think
saying
so.
that she was doing that, and she did get that to that position. So maybe in her mind, she thought that was
Maybe,
something
I
she
don't
needed
know.
to do,
Uh-huh.
and it's just that's messed up.
But that's looking at pictures of her. That's racist as shit. She just has like a tan on and
Yeah, a bad tan. It's like a Donald
and,
Trump
like,
level tan.
really curled her hair.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Like talking about racial caricatures.
Yeah,
Like what the fuck?
I don't know.
But is the left like super in support of her being transracial?
I just remember when it first came out, like
remember
when
hearing about
she was
it,
like in
but-
the news, and then everyone was like, "Wait a minute, is that a tan?" And
Yeah.
then like Google detectives figured it out, and she had to like come out and be like, "Yeah, well, I'm not really black, but I identify as black, and I'm transracial." And then this whole thing became like, "Well, that's okay. You can be transracial. Yeah, do that." And everyone else was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? That's stupid."
It's terrible.
But yeah, so that was a thing for a while. I don't think anyone's really talking about it too much anymore.
Yeah. Well, no, some of those were from April. That's pretty recently.
Yeah.
I thought that happened like last year, didn't it?
Yeah, her big news scandal thing was the last year.
Yeah.
But she's been intermittently back in the news a little bit.
Just say, I'm white, I'm not black, I'm sorry. That's it.
What are you sorry
You don't
for?
get to say that, well, for pretending to be
Okay,
black.
yeah.
Not sorry for being white. Sorry for pretending to be black.
Yeah. Don't pretend to be black in the first place. Let's
Yeah.
go with that. How about everyone just be what you are, and everyone should be okay with it.
And don't be like, I identify as black because I listen to hip hop music. Like,
Yeah, that's so wrong.
what?
So,
Like, I love hip hop and basketball just as much as the next guy. I don't think that I'm black.
everyone
almost
loves
like-
hip hop and basketball.
Well, it's almost like people are allowed to like things that maybe don't correspond with their race. That aren't stereotypes of their race. You know what I mean? Because people aren't super simplistic and can't be boiled down into, you know what I mean? Like shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like she was like being transracial is a step away from like shoving. I don't even want to say this on air because this is horrible. But shoving fried chicken and watermelon in your mouth and being like, I'm black. Like, you know what I mean? Like what she did by like getting a spray tan or whatever the fuck she did and like curling the shit out of her hair. Like, I feel like that's as racist as doing that because it's essentially blackface and you're like, this is what black
Right.
people look like.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with getting a spray tan and
No,
curling
there's
your
nothing
hair.
wrong with getting
But
a
if you
spray
do that
and then
because you're
that
claiming
black,
to be
yeah,
black,
no, that's the problem.
that's the problem.
There's absolutely
That's
nothing
the
wrong
problem.
with curling your hair. Yeah.
So
I just feel like it's very trying to stereotype people, and this is how black people look like, and I need to look like one of them to gain some political leverage is really fucking gross.
right.
Is really
Right. And that's the
fucking
worst
gross.
thing. The worst thing is that
Very
she was in
slimy.
this position of power for an organization for colored people, and she's claiming to be a colored person. And it's like the exact opposite of what you should be doing, you know?
What do you mean?
Like it's for the empowerment of people of color,
Oh yeah, sure.
and she's kind of like
yeah,
uh,
like I said, stereotyping.
stereotyping. She's stereotyping.
Yeah.
So
No,
it's
you're
like,
right, yeah.
what the heck? But
Yeah. Oh, and while I was on Twitter looking for that video, which you can't find, I saw people using the acronym POC.
yeah, that's a thing too. It's crazy. I don't know.
Please, if you're watching this, and you think that calling people of color, you think that calling people of color is not racist, please try and explain to me, because I sincerely don't understand.
Thank you for watching our podcast, Not So Malone, with your host, Matt Malone, and my co-host, Ryan. If you have any feedback or suggestions for topics to discuss on the show, leave us a comment or find us on Twitter @NotSoMalone.